what you're seeing now is you're seeing everybody focusing on privacy. Now everybody's very focused on real world tokenization. What you're seeing now is you're seeing everybody focusing on privacy. Now everybody's very focused on real world tokenization of assets, enterprise use cases, collateral mobility, and now suddenly privacy is becoming an important topic.
Welcome to TradeWeb's Off the Desk on TradeWeb podcast, in-depth and informal conversations on important trends shaping the trading landscape. I'm Chris Bruner, Chief Product Officer at TradeWeb. Emerging technologies, especially blockchain, are impacting both the foundational principles of finance and the infrastructure that drives it. These technologies affect not only market structure, but also areas like the electronification of paper markets, tokenized assets, post-trade processes, and more. To better understand these trends and what they mean for market participants, I sat down with one of our key partners and top industry experts, Yuval Roose, co-founder and CEO of Digital Asset. I hope you enjoy the conversation. I'm excited to be here today with Yuval Roose, co-founder and CEO of Digital Asset. Welcome, Yuval.
Yeah, awesome to be here, Chris.
Great, thanks. Well, we're excited today to talk about emerging technologies, blockchain in particular. Maybe at first, I'd love to hear sort of your career journey into the blockchain space. Most people our age did not start out in that as a career because it didn't exist at that point.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, I wish I was that young to say that I could have started my career at blockchain, but after graduating from Georgia Tech in electrical engineering, I did the natural move of moving to finance, and I started my career as a software developer. At,
many of us did.
Yeah, at Citadel in Chicago, and then from there moved to DRW Trading to do algorithmic trading, and was fortunate enough to work under Don Wilson, the founder and CEO of DRW, mainly because DRW is full of a lot of smart people, but more the culture that Don created in the company, which is we're managing risk, and therefore when new opportunities show themselves up, rather than saying no, this is not what we do for a living, actually look at things very open-mindedly and see, can we participate and manage the risk correctly.
That was pretty early days.
Yeah,
so there weren't too many trading firms.
Those were very early
looking
days.
at it that early.
Yeah. So my co-founder, actually Eric, is the one who started Cumberland together with another DRW partner, trading Bitcoin, making markets. And I actually was part of the team that started what today is DRW VC.
Okay.
And we started looking into companies in the space, made a few investments in 2013. And then in 2014, believed that there's a great opportunity to really leverage the technology in a way that will move finance into its new phase from processing efficiency and opening, capital markets for opportunities that today are not, or back then were not really possible. So in end of 2014, both myself and Eric left DRW officially to start Digital Asset.
Yeah, that was a super early entry into the space. I think you have quite a unique perspective almost on the evolution of this from that early on, especially on the institutional side, which is where our focus so much is. I'd love to hear maybe a little more about that 10 plus year journey now. Like, what were the earliest days like versus maybe where we're at today?
Early days when we came in, we came in with this mindset that this technology could really revolutionize capital markets as we know them, and we'll talk probably later on about how we believe it can revolutionize it. But, does it make sense to have, full transparency without any control, with no programmable privacy built into the technology? Not really. And not because we are necessarily have this worldview that lack of privacy is bad, or that people like the crypto natives will say pseudo-anonymity is good enough. It was more from a very practical point of view, thinking that large enterprises would not be comfortable with the whole world seeing all of their
So
financial
as you were
activity.
looking at the digital asset space, you saw that for institutional finance, you might need to take a slightly different approach, it sounds like.
Yeah, and therefore it will be a long journey to build technology, first of all, that fits those requirements, but also because the technology or the conversation about the technology got started as a result of Bitcoin, there's going to be two hurdles. One is creating a technology that will meet the requirements of large enterprises, in addition to convincing organizations such as yourself that just using this technology does not necessarily mean that you have to believe in Bitcoin. I think over the last 10 years, seeing kind of, first of all, the regulators get educated, customers get educated, and seeing the amount of competition that came into the space has definitely been a very unique journey.
The space has exploded, really, in a lot of ways, right?
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. My name is Anne-Sophie, and I'm very excited to be leading today's discussion on behalf of Digital Euro Association. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you. And I'd like to also thank our panelists for joining us. And before we dive in, I'd like to invite each of you to briefly introduce yourselves and the perspectives you bring to this conversation. So maybe Karen, we'll start with you.
Sure. My name's Karen O'Tony. I'm with Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust. We are part of the broader Linux Foundation umbrella, but we focus on hosting open source technologies in the decentralized space. So think DLTs, ledgers, cryptographic tools, smart contract technologies, decentralized identity, et cetera. And many of the implementations you're seeing by enterprises and institutions use our technologies. And I look forward to talking more about that as well. I've been in this space since 2016, primarily focused on ecosystem building in amongst the enterprise industries for them to leverage the use of these sorts of technologies. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Karen. Georg, over to you.
Yeah, hi, Georg Schneider here. I'm currently responsible for RWAs globally for Canton Network. So I work at Digital Asset. We're the creator of the technology behind the Canton Network. Canton Network is a layer one with institutional grade privacy, and we're really on a mission to make finance work the way it's supposed to work using this technology, and have built over the past 10 years features that make this really ready for institutional use cases at scale. Working with some of the large global FMIs and banks to really bring these new rails into traditional finance. My personal background is in equity derivatives. Worked for 10 years there and saw the complexity that we're now trying to solve. And so yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you, Georg. David, your turn.
You hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you.
Super, thank you. Donc, hello, David Roose. I'm the CEO of Société Générale Forge, which is a regulated subsidiary of Société Générale Group. We are dedicated to digital assets. We started in 2018 by tokenizing financial instruments. We did some project as well with digital euro for wholesale markets. And since 2023, we are issuer of stable coins and providing set of services around crypto, donc crypto custody, stablecoin issuance, and we are looking further on execution services. Voilà, our ambition is to be a kind of bridge, a regulated bridge between traditional finance and all the crypto world, because we think that the two worlds have a lot to understand from each other, and there was since a long time a strict fence between the two, and we think that the fencing the two worlds is really critical for both worlds to progress, traditional finance to digitalize and have better speed, and all the crypto market to get regulated, increase volumes, and get, let's say, all the professional aspects of what can be a professional market, and we have that experience in the TradFi. Voilà. Donc happy to be there, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, David. And then last but not least, Jens.
Yeah, Jens Siebert, partner with KPMG. Happy to be here today. I'm part of the German KPMG organization, and within our financial services consulting team, I'm in charge of everything related to digital assets and digital market infrastructures. And over the past years, have helped leading banks and financial organizations in structuring their digital assets agenda and also roadmap, breaking it down to license applications, and really, bringing together all the components of a digital capital market infrastructure. And before that, a couple of years in fintech space, and also always related to digital assets, tokenization, and crypto. And happy to be here today.
Also very happy to have you. Thank you again, everyone. So today we're here to explore a very timely topic, the regulated layer 1 or RL1s. And across global financial markets, we're seeing growing momentum towards sector-wide regulated settlement infrastructures. So systems that can support tokenized assets, tokenized deposits, and regulated stablecoins in a compliant, scalable, and interoperable way. So these are not public blockchains, they're not CBDC platforms. We're talking about industry-led, permissioned, institution-grade networks designed to reduce fragmentation, improve settlement workflows, and create a more coherent digital market infrastructure. And just to align on terminology before we start, when we talk about a regulated layer 1, we mean this shared base layer infrastructure, so a blockchain or synchronized network operated under regulated governance with institutional requirements around privacy, compliance, and finality. So this sits alongside other infrastructures, public chains, global liquidity, private networks used for internal workflows, and public sector rails being explored by central banks. Today, we'll take a practical approach to RL1s and what problems they should address, where they fit in the evolving ecosystem, and how institutions should think about them now. So with that foundation in place, let's begin with our first segment, why RL1s matter and what is driving an institutional demand now. And I'd like to explore the business rationale here a bit, what pain points, what opportunities, and what market forces are shaping interest in shared regulated infrastructure at the L1 layer. So Georg, let me start with you. Where do you see the most immediate institutional pain points that RL1 style infrastructures can address? And what are banks, asset managers, or market infrastructure struggling with today that requires a coordinated solution?
Yeah, so if you look at how blockchain historically has evolved, right, it started out with these entirely permissionless public open networks where people have done a lot of experimentation and have kind of proven out what's possible using this technology, right? And then because regulated institutions were not able to interact with these types of networks for a variety of reasons, there was sort of the counterpoint to that created, which was the entirely private and permissioned sort of siloed off networks. And I think both try to solve for different things, right? On the public side, you had the seamless interoperability. You could really see how applications composed on top of each other, and that was a very novel and very innovative thing. But for example, lack of privacy and the lack of control that people would have interacting with such a network has kind of driven the development of the private permission subnets, right? There you can solve for privacy to some extent. There you can solve for the necessary control and governance that you need over your infrastructure, your application. But that came at a very heavy cost, which is that of the interoperability. So you ended up with lots of sort of siloed deployments. And really, where we now see all of those kind of pain points converge or being addressed is sort of the middle ground here, where you can operate an open network that has privacy, that gives you the necessary control over your infrastructure, which were sort of the factors that would really prevent regulated institutions from interacting with open networks, and basically get the best of both worlds. And that's what we've tried to solve for with Canton Network. And I think the fact that we have actually managed to bring not only regulated institutions but also use cases that are heavily regulated into the network have actually proven out that is now possible. So I think in terms of regulated layer 1s, it's really there to solve for these requirements that the banks have due to regulation or due to their own internal compliance, which is often a big factor. And once you have the right properties in the mix, then these organizations can start to interact with this technology and unlock the benefits that they get from that.
Thank you. Maybe Jens, from your work with banks and regulators as well, what problem statements are driving interest in sector-wide infrastructure from your point of view? What misconceptions perhaps are there in the market about what RL1s are or are not?
Yeah, I would really say that probably fragmentation being concerned about fragmentation of digital market infrastructures is really what drives banks and asset managers mostly when it comes to tokenization cases. Everybody has done their proof of concepts. We know the technology in general works, to issue, trade, and settle all sorts of tokenized financial instruments. However, what we need really is powerful, integrated, and liquid markets that function on a resilient infrastructure. And I think this is really what matters most to banks and regulated market participants. I indeed have the feeling that we are at some point, more or less, at a tipping point of leaving the POC era behind us, and now really working towards joint and powerful digital financial market infrastructures, at least from the European perspective that I mostly have. I can see this development. And you asked for misconceptions. I would really say that we have to make clear that it's regulated financial market infrastructures or joint financial market infrastructures do not necessarily mean that it's a bank blockchain. It's an infrastructure used by a regulated industry to as a technical backbone and foundation to issue, trade, and settle financial instruments, to deploy smart contracts around those types of financial instruments, to have the cash and the asset leg being integrated. But it's not like it's a blockchain dominated by one bank or a small group of banks. And I think also another important misconception is that you really have to differentiate the different layers of a functioning digital market, and I think on those different layers, I can really recommend the ASAP model by the IMF to kind of structure and sort out the digital market infrastructures. And I speed it up here, but the ASAP model, the P stands for platform, or the fundamental transaction network layer in the basement, let's say. And on this level, competition is not really what we need. I think we mostly need collaboration and positive market network effects on this base layer. On all the layers that come on top of it, what kind of assets do we issue and move? What kind of services we provide? How's access managed for clients on the institution and retail side? All of those layers are perfect for competition, the best solution in the market. But when it comes to the base, let's say transaction layer in the basement, the platform, I think collaboration is really key. We also do not need several railway tracks right next to each other. We do need competition of the railway companies on top of it, but a joint set of rails is probably what we and the entire industry is currently looking for.
Yeah. Karen, coming to you, perhaps talking about collaboration at the base layer from your vantage point and also having an international perspective, because Jens mentioned his European point of view. What trends are you perceiving in the ecosystem and developer community that indicate that markets are shifting towards this shared regulated trust layer? What signals are there?
Yeah, I appreciate what Jens said about collaboration, because that's what we're all about as an open source community, and as a sort of neutral convener that brings together people to work and build where there can be shared infrastructure and shared benefit from that. I think building on what Georg said about sort of the evolution here. I think everyone's been doing what they can, especially those who are at the forefront of being on top of new innovations within their constraints. And we've been supporting enterprise institutions in doing that because, like Jörg said, there were constraints, regulatory constraints, scalability, privacy constraints, in which many organizations just couldn't do and leverage the technology for these use cases with the public and permissionless options. And so we've seen a lot of this experimentation happen within various institutions, both as within internally or in a small or relatively small consortium, and I think that's been very helpful in order to prepare all these banks, whether they be private or public sector, to prepare them for this next stage that we're in now that the regulatory landscape is catching up and laying down a lot of the possibilities for these things to not be experimentations that are happening parallel to existing infrastructure, but actually start to build production systems, operate production systems that integrate with existing infrastructure. And I feel like that's the place where we are now, where we are seeing institutions really having to now do the very difficult and complicated work of actually really integrating these systems into their very long-standing systems. And so that's both a challenge and an opportunity to bring these new use cases to these institutions. But of course, there's a lot to figure out. Interoperability has been something that our community has been working on for a long time. We have a code project called
Hold on. I'm gonna run that back because this is coming from an industry leading expert at the Linux Foundation, and this is only from like a couple of days ago. And listen to what she just said here. Pretty sure that's pretty damn important considering the hype that we've seen in this space and whatnot, and how she just pretty much confirmed like we're still in this integral phase where banks are trying to figure things out. Hold on, real quick. Take a second and listen to what she just said. Let's run that back.
Community, and as a sort of neutral convener that brings together people to work and build where there can be shared infrastructure and shared benefit from that. Yeah, I think building on what Georg said about sort of the evolution here. I think everyone's been doing what they can, especially those who are at the forefront of being on top of new innovations within their constraints. And we've been supporting enterprise institutions in doing that because, like Georg said, there were constraints, regulatory constraints, scalability, privacy constraints, in which many organizations just couldn't do and leverage the technology for these use cases with the public and permissionless options. And so we've seen a lot of this experimentation happen within various institutions, both within internally or in a small or relatively small consortium, and I think that's been very helpful in order to prepare all these banks, whether they be private or public sector, to prepare them for this next stage that we're in now that the regulatory landscape is catching up and laying down a lot of the possibilities for these things to not be experimentations that are happening parallel to existing infrastructure, but actually start to build production systems, operate production systems that integrate with existing infrastructure. And I feel like that's the place where we are now, where we are seeing institutions really having to now do the very difficult and complicated work of actually really integrating these systems into their very long-standing systems. And so that's both a challenge and an opportunity to bring these new use cases to these institutions. But of course, there's a lot to figure out. Interoperability has been something that our community has been working on for a long time. We have a code project called Hyperledger Cacti and Smoot, which allow for integration between different distributed ledgers. We also see privacy coming up as more and more of a focus, because now we're actually dealing with real transactions, real data. And so there's a lot of different technologies in the space that are being explored, different flavors of zero knowledge. In our community, we have a new project that we that just graduated called Paladin, which is this composable framework for privacy on EVM. And so I think that we have been creating this foundation of the various tools, and are seeing these networks expand into these multi-stakeholder regulated layer one models, where we need to move towards actually building an infrastructure where we can not only take advantage of digitizing or creating digital assets with this technology, but also the new possibilities that it offers as well. And so I think that's really where you're seeing this evolution into these RL1s, although some have been operating for a while, right? We have DTCC has had their project Ion for several years now, Finality as well, Euroclear. The Japan Securities Clearing Corporation has also had several commodities listed and are doing real transactions with that as well. So this has been happening, but I think what we're seeing right now is with the shift in the regulatory clarity and frameworks, both in the US and Europe, and the perhaps pressure of competition from stable coins, we see more of a push into getting these consortia together and creating this infrastructure that can allow us to operate globally.
Yeah, entirely. And I guess that's how.
That was a huge mouthful, but I like listening to people like that that lady comes directly from the Linux Foundation. Let me go back and see what her credentials were. She is, dang, it doesn't say who she is from the Linux Foundation. Hold on, let me see if it's in the. Am I tripping? KPMG CEO, decentralized senior director, strategic initiatives, George. Her name Karen. Okay, she is the senior director of ecosystem and strategic initiatives at the Linux Foundation. And she's just a month ago. This is from December 4th, 2025, talking about how banks are just now in this phase where they're starting to really integrate all this stuff into the core banking infrastructure. And so I like playing these video clips because you have all these opinions and theories fluctuating around on the internet from the retail side of things, but like what you don't see is the people that actually have credentials in this space floating those ideas around. And instead, the people that actually have credentials in this space are the ones telling you like it's not really quite time yet. We're definitely at that tipping point, and we're definitely starting to see scaled adoption in a much better regulatory environment, but banks are still trying to figure out where all of this fits in. So I like hearing things like that because it really brings us back down to reality with all these high price predictions that get thrown around on whatever project you're interested in. And it gets you to realize like this is a long term game, right? This is not some overnight quick fix, moonshot, freaking, overnight lottery ticket. This is the transformation of the financial ecosystem. And if you understand that, then you should be watching panel discussions like this that go relatively unnoticed. I mean, this is literally from the Digital Euro Association. You would think that a video breakdown like this, a podcast, would have so many more views, but bro, this only has 25 freaking views.
25 years. Oh man. This is the stuff that matters right here. Stuff like this.
Yeah, which is of course why the vast majority of people that hear this for the first time and they'll hear me say something like, yeah, it's not time for the moonshot yet. And they'll be like, oh, you're wrong. And I'm I'm like, okay, dude, whatever, keep listening to Twitter people on Twitter, whatever, and stop listening to the people that actually work at these foundations, like the freaking Linux Foundation that literally governs every major organization that you use and have in your household products and like everything that you own. Linux Foundation. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's major.
Every store you go to, every piece of clothing you wear, everything. Linux Foundation,
Wow.
So you could choose to listen to this lady or not. But anyways, I thought that this video breakdown, it's pretty lengthy. I don't want to finish the whole thing. We don't have time for it today. But this is the regulator layer 1 building the digital foundation of finance shared in the private CyberX Discord stream that took place live on December 4th. And it's got individual gentleman from the Canton Foundation. Who is he? Give me a second. He is the George Schneider, the global head of RWA at Canton Network. So I'll probably finish listening to that maybe after this and let it play once we're done our talking spiel. But let's dive into today's video breakdown and just get some stuff out of the way. So the reason why I like that too is because, we have Yuval Roose here from just a couple of weeks ago going on to talk about how the Linux Foundation chose the Canton Network. Out of all the blockchains out there, they chose the Canton Network, right? So this is from a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember the particular date, but just listen to Yuval Roose say this real fast.
And we wanted to make sure that everybody understand that at Digital Asset, we take these type of things very seriously. So the other thing that was an amazing surprise is that we approached Linux and we told Linux that we would want them to be the governing body of Canton. And they told us that they haven't agreed to talk to any blockchain project. They have Hyperledger that sits under Linux, but the parent organization never agreed. They said everything can go to Hyperledger, but we are not touching these things. And about almost 2 months ago now, they gave us a green light to form a new project under Linux, and we're hoping within the next few weeks to kind of officially kick off the foundation, and Linux will be the governing body for Canton. Wow.
So yeah, bro, Linux has been the overseer of, foundations, but never an actual governing body of a blockchain, and they chose Canton for the first time.
That's massive. That's massive.
It is pretty nuts. It's very interesting to say the least. First off, guys and gals, welcome back to another Well 28 Club Podcast Friday episode. We've been covering deep research on Canton. I don't think that we're going to have time to get to some of the XRP stuff that I have today, because I really only have an hour. I have like 50 tabs open today. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I'm going to cover Canton first, and then if we have time, if we don't reach an hour by then, which we're already going on 30 minutes, we'll get into some XRP stuff. But nonetheless, just understand first before we dive in, it's so sickening seeing people in the comments think that here in the Well 28 Club we're maxis, or that we're bandwagoning a project, or any of those things. We're so diversified in this community. We don't gravitate towards any one project. We gravitate towards research. We gravitate towards things that are happening in this space that we believe people should be paying attention to, and you guys can choose what to do with that information. So nothing that we constitute here is financial advice. We're not telling you guys to go out there and invest in Canton Coin, nor are we telling you guys that Canton Coin is the chosen one by any means necessary, nor XRP or Metal or XPR or anything like that. We don't have those types of opinions here. We just do research. All right. So we hope that the real people out there that are listening and tuning into these calls actually appreciate that type of research and that value, instead of all the hype opinionated bullcrap that exists out there on the internet, where people just throw ridiculous theories and price predictions out to you guys and distract you and keep you diluted into this lottery fixed mindset. Here in this community, in the CyberX Well 28 Club, we just do research. Okay. So with that being said, let's kick it off, as they were talking about tokenization, and CoinDesk just dropped this article a couple days ago, published January 7, 2026. Tokenization super cycle set to drive crypto's next leg higher in 2026, Bernstein says. And this goes on to read, Wall Street broker Bernstein said 2026 is likely to mark the start of a tokenization supercycle, with digital assets having probably bottomed after a weak end to 2025, making market dips an opportunity to add exposure to crypto-linked stocks. The broker says sentiment weakened late last year, but underlying fundamentals remain intact. Analysts led by Gautam Chujani wrote in a Tuesday report. So that was just interesting to see, because there's a lot of fear-based sentiment right now, and we know the long-term trajectory of this space. Anybody that has done the research, put in the elbow grease, and this is not your first rodeo, knows that these discounted opportunities that we're seeing across the board in multiple different altcoins is nothing but that, an opportunity to fill the bag on blue chip digital assets that are actually solving real world use cases and real world problems. And I couldn't support that enough. Now, we've seen so many recent developments in regards to the Canton Network lately, and because a lot of people have never heard about the Canton Network, nor do they know that it's existed since back in the early days of ETH, right? Back in 2014 era, they think that it's just this random blockchain that popped up out of nowhere, but it's actually not, and it's been around for quite some time. They just actually launched their coin recently, which is why there's a lot of hype around it, but the blockchain itself and the developers and the team behind it have been in this space for literally over 10 years, over a decade. And we're starting to really see those developments kick in. This was posted from Payment Expert just a day ago. Since we're on the topic of tokenization, it says, yesterday, Lloyds Bank Group became the first, I repeat, the first UK bank to settle a tokenized sterling deposit. The transaction will settle between Lloyds Bank Corporate Markets and London-based digital asset company Archax, leveraging the Canton Network blockchain. Global banks have placed increasing focus on tokenized deposits as opposed to stable coins, with JP Morgan and Citi leading the charge in the US, while HSBC has developed use cases for multi-currency cross-border settlement. Now, as we continue to progress, there was another announcement just today from Canton and it talks about how BNY has launched tokenized deposits for institutional clients, enabling bank deposits to move on chain, improving settlement efficiency and liquidity management. And then Canton Network said here, it says, this reflects the direction Canton was built for: privacy-enabled institution-ready infrastructure at scale. I really like that key vocabulary word, privacy-enabled. We'll get into that in just a second. So reading this piece here from January 9th, 2026, it says, BNY has introduced tokenized deposit capabilities for institutional clients, enabling client deposit balances to be mirrored as on-chain digital book entries. The system runs on a private permission blockchain and is governed by the bank's established risk compliance and control frameworks, maintaining existing regulatory and reporting standards. Clients' balances will continue to be recorded on BNY's traditional systems. The initial launch will focus on collateral and margin frameworks with tokenized deposits designed to reduce settlement friction, improve liquidity management, and enable programmable cash movements. Then down here, it goes on to talk about something that Yuval said here. It says, commenting on the launch, Yuval Roose, co-founder and CEO of Digital Asset, said, we welcome the opportunity to work with BNY as they advance a practical institution-ready approach to tokenized deposits, bringing deposits and balances on-chain, making asset mobilization more efficient and unlocking liquidity across workflows. Then it says, this direction aligns closely with our strategy for the Canton Network, supporting privacy-enabled on-chain infrastructure and solutions that help regulated institutions coordinate and transact in real time while maintaining the controls, governance, and trust that underpin the global financial markets. Now, why I like this is because it goes on to this whole notion behind this privacy ideology. And so before we get into some more groundbreaking fundamentals, like the Temple Digital Group launching a private institutional trading platform on the Canton Network, which is huge. We'll come back to this in just a second. I want you guys to remember first that NASDAQ also is partnered with the Canton Network. And if we come over here to this December 16th FT Partners tokenization of real world assets, again, the title and topic of tokenization, mind you, what Bernstein's just said here in this CoinDesk article, that tokenization is going to take 2026 by storm, right? Well, listen to what the NASDAQ CEO here, you can see Adina Friedman, chair and CEO of NASDAQ, says and talks about in regards to privacy and how these institutions are going to need this privacy in order to even operate at scale in these markets. Take a second here and listen to what she says.
They felt very kind of comfortable around, and those cadences around protocols are fundamental to institutions trusting how these transactions go. And I just wanted to kind of mention that because Yuval had brought that up.
So in the equities world, as liquid and transparent as we are, we do not give up who the traders are unless they choose to, right? So that is a really, really important part of the entire making the markets as liquid and as transparent as they are. So there's obviously instant price discovery and all of that. There's depth of book, all of that. But it's, if you choose to put your name behind a quote, you can, but most choose to be anonymous, even on the quote, even on the order. But then on the trade, you think about the level of privacy that institutional investors seek. It is pretty extreme. I mean, their only obligation is to disclose their positions 45 days after the end of the quarter. So while I think that should be brought up closer to the trade, I don't think it should be revealed at the trade. I think you would disincentivize so much volume from coming in if they have to give up their strategies on a real-time basis. And so I think if you end up in an open blockchain that does not have privacy, there will be a privacy layer that's introduced, and that just creates friction. So if you have it built into the actual blockchain technology, that's the elegant way to make it so that you retain the need for them to be able to execute their strategies successfully throughout the day without a give up. And then the other thing I would say that we also have to consider on the post-trade side is moving to instant settlement sounds amazing, and it definitely takes it.
So long story short, she talks about the privacy feature being built into the blockchain and literally how it's going to be mandatory for these institutions in such a way, right? Because none of these institutions want to, make transparent their trades. It would literally create chaos in the markets if they did that. And what does digital asset Canton Network offer? It offers the ability to embed privacy, and it comes with the blockchain features. Now, that's so important. And the reason why I really like this panel discussion, we played this, I believe, Aqua last week, right? Where the gentleman from Figures talks about how, what did he say specifically? He was talking about how banks are using DeFi.
Yeah, how basically the employees or I don't know if you'd call them employees, but the people that work for these institutions have been testing DeFi out. And remember, going back to our previous conversations back in beginning of 2000, I mean, I would even say 2024, right? We were like, where's all this money coming from? Because on DeFi Llama, I think the total value locked was a good amount. I don't want to throw out a number, but we were like, where's all this money coming from once it started to click? And then we were like, man, maybe it's the institution like private money. And he basically tells us that that's what they were doing, at least from these group of individuals, right? So
yeah, asking the question, like, where are these these wallets that have, $10 million sitting in a stablecoin liquidity pool? Like, that's not just your average retail investor on working your 9-to-5 job with 10 milli sitting in the liquidity pool. That's some institutional, worker or somebody that understands the game, that has that amount of capital, that's sitting there testing these things out. And this guy proves it right here. Take a second and listen to this, yo.
Sometimes, these things can feel like side projects inside of these larger institutions, and the concept of kind of where this is headed as being a side project feels like very much off the table right now.
Well, I was sitting at a lunch with the head of equities at one of the big sell side banks, and they pulled out their wallet and showed me their Phantom wallet and their MetaMask wallet and all the stuff they were doing in DeFi, and they understood it inside and out, and they understood what the value prop was. It's not trading stock 24/7. It's the DeFi collateral aspect.
bro, I would even say this just the level of maturity to have 10 million in stable position, right? Give any degen $10 million and it's going to be in meme coins, blue chips, what they think are blue chips, right? So the fact that it's in stable coins speaks loudly as well.
Now, we're going to do something here for you guys that I guarantee you no other influencer group that has covered this or will cover this groundbreaking fundamental piece is going to show you all physical proof. How many times you've been following these podcasts and you're even a part of the Well 28 Club? This is going to blow your mind. Have we been screaming at the top of our lungs that these institutions will be, for a fact, earning rewards and yield on their digital assets? And that is the future. Get involved, learn how to do it, because that's what's about to happen, right? Well, you guys just heard that gentleman from Figure talk about how he sat and ate lunch with a sell side bank, and he showed him his wallet, and they were talking about DeFi on Phantom Wallet and MetaMask. Like, if that's not confirmation enough, check this out. So yesterday, Temple Digital Group launched a private institutional trading platform built on the Canton Network, offering continuous 24/7 trading of digital assets using a central limit order book and non-custodial market structure. Now, this is great, but what's so crazy about this is that these institutions that use this trading platform, Temple Digital Group, are about to be earning rewards in Canton for using the freaking platform, y'all. Check this out. So let's dive into this. This is from Cointelegraph. Temple Digital Group has launched a private, and remember, we heard the NASDAQ CEO sitting on a panel with Yuval Roose talk about how important privacy is and the privacy aspect of trading. Okay, and mind you, this just launched on Canton. Temple Digital Group has launched a private institutional trading platform built on Canton Network, offering continuous 24/7 trading of digital assets using a central limit order book and non-custodial market structure. According to an announcement shared with Cointelegraph on Thursday, the platform supports trading in cryptocurrencies and stablecoins and is designed to allow institutions to transact with approved counterparties while maintaining privacy and regulatory oversight, with participants retaining custody of assets rather than relying on a central intermediary. The system is built around price time priority central limit order books with sub-second matching and includes execution monitoring and transaction cost analysis tools intended for institutional trading desks, the company said. So again, this is for institutional clients. This is not for your average retail investor. All right. It says the platform, to confirm this even more, is live and is onboarding institutional users, including the likes of asset managers, market makers, and financial institutions, with support for tokenized equities and commodities planned for 2026. So this is confirming what this platform is designed for: market makers, financial institutions, and asset managers. So let me rest my case. If we come over here and we go to the Temple Digital Group website and LinkedIn profile, this blew my freaking mind yesterday, because all day yesterday on their LinkedIn profile, they were posting about this. Canton Coin is now available on Temple. This is from 2 hours ago, right? And then if we come over here in the CyberX research channel, what did we find? I'm going to play this little tiny video snippet for you guys. And I asked the same question on the Zoom call, on the private Zoom call yesterday that we had with the community. Do you see what they say here in this little 21-second video? So I'm going to play it. I'm going to mute it though, because I don't want to get freaking copyright infringement for the little tiny music that they have in the background. But this is directly from Temple Trading Digital Group, and we already know who's going to be using this platform. Okay. And look at what it says. So just take a second and watch this. So it's just doing a quick overview of what the platform looks like a little sneak peek, right? Boom, right there. Did you see it? It's quick and it dissipates and goes away real fast. But look at what it says here, y'all. Each transaction is going to earn these institutions Canton Coin. Y'all, you see that right there? Now, you would only know that this is going to happen if you were to watch this 21-second video and pause it right here where I'm pausing it for you guys. But it says it right there. Every transaction will automatically earn you Canton Coin. Okay? Now, let's just take a look at who developed this Temple platform, because the team is right here. So here's their website, building financial infrastructure for the next generation of capital markets. You got their whole team here, all their LinkedIn profiles. Check out. You got the CEO of Temple. He is also currently the CEO of this organization called Mintify, that currently right now has over 500,000 plus users and currently actively has over $200 million in trading volume. Then you have people like this guy over here. I want to show you guys this dude and his credentials. Where is he at? Right here. You got this guy, head of compliance at Temple Digital Group. Okay. Manfred B. And if you scroll right down here to his past credentials, he was the FinCrime Transformation Chief Compliance Officer at BVNK. Okay. What is BVNK, y'all? If you come over to the BVNK website, BVNK is a registered money service business with the U.S. Financial Crimes Enforcement Network and licensed in various states as a money transmitter or equivalent. And a dude that used to work here is now working at Temple, and Temple just decided to choose Canton Network to launch on. So you guys kind of get my gist of like how these people with valid credentials are choosing these blockchain networks, and then people on Twitter are like calling them a scam. Do you think that a guy that used to work at BVNK, that is a registered money service business with the U.S. Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, would fucking have chosen the Canton Network if it was a scam? Are you seeing the pieces, the puzzle I'm putting together for you guys here? Right? Go ahead, Aqua, if you have anything real quick.
No, I mean, it's so crazy how transparent it is as well. Like if you just put in a little elbow grease and do the research, I mean, this is this is undeniable proof right here. You know what I mean?
So to wrap this up, the reason why we wanted to bring this to y'all's attention is we're proving to you guys that right now DeFi offers a what? We've been saying it for some time, a level playing field, where these institutions are going to be earning rewards on their digital assets, and so can we. So I've now showed you guys how institutions are about to be earning rewards in Canton Coin. Well, if you guys haven't seen already what's going on with the Braun wallet and Canton Coin, right now we can earn Canton Coin in the Braun wallet. So I'm not going to go over this in detail unless you want to today, Aqua, but maybe talk on this a little bit. But right now, there are different reward features and tiers in the Braun wallet, which is a newly launched wallet by the CEO or ex-CEO thereof of Copper, who created this wallet, where they are also a super validator on the Canton Network and participate in the rewards mechanisms, distributing rewards to people that come and house their Canton in the Braun wallet. And we've been using this for quite some time now in the CyberX community, and we're getting daily rewards just like these institutions are about to be able to do. I just showed you guys over on Temple, right? Which is an institutional grade trading platform for market makers and institutions alike. Go ahead, Aqua.
Yeah, no, the Braun wallet is it's been a great experience too, to be honest with you, from head to toe. I mean, especially just reaching out to their customer service. Well, what's his name? Hold on, my daughter. You might be hearing my daughter in the background. But Dmitry Tokarev is the founder of the Braun wallet. He came from Copper. He's one of the founders at Copper. Keep in mind, like Cypress just said, Copper is one of the super validators for Canton Network. Yeah, Dimitri is still basically he's a huge investor still for Copper, and this guy is no small fry. Like I proved on our Zoom call yesterday. I can just share my screen actually real quick so I could show you guys who this man is and what his net worth is. But it's pretty crazy. And keep in mind, this was back from 2023, I believe. So hold on, let's see here. So yeah, this is the wealthiest Brits in tech, right? We got our guy Richard Branson right there. But number 36 on this list is Dmitry Tokarev, Copper. 264 million is his net worth. And again, this is back in 2023, so it could be much more than that, right?
Oh yeah, bro, his net worth is way higher than 223 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. It just goes to show that these people are building things in a space that actually matter. And a lot of people, if you're new to this whole entire thing that we're talking about right now, don't just go and jump in. This is the type of stuff that we talk about in the Well 28 Club on a consistent weekly basis all the time, like earning rewards, getting our digital assets working for us. I suggest that you guys take some time if you're interested in these types of things and just start reading, start reading documents, start reading websites, start reading information on this, because it's all there. It'll answer all your questions. A lot of people will be like, well, where do the rewards come from? Are you even allowed to do this? Is this even possible? How is it all possible? What are the reward distributions like? Do the rewards fluctuate? Like all the questions that you could possibly have outside of tapping into the Well 28 Club, where we discuss these things on weekly Zoom calls with the private community members. It's all there for you. If you just start to lock in and tap into a community that points this stuff out, then you can go easily find it, right? So maybe I'll read this and wrap it up here, because there were some questions on how is this even possible? Well, let's dive into this. These are the documents from Braun, and it talks about how all of this is possible and kind of like what it is about. So again, I'm reading this because I'm trying to show you guys that, and me and Aqua have been trying to show you guys for the longest time, why it's so important that right now you stop focus on this price appreciation theoretical bullshit and you start to focus on cash flow. Cash flow is king. None of the institutions, if you guys actually listen to the panel discussions that stream constantly week after week after week, are ever focused on price appreciation. What are they focused on? Collateral, tokenization, posting digital assets, utilizing them to earn rewards and build treasury portfolios, and then have those treasury portfolios inside staking mechanisms and then earning yield on those and just generating more income every single month. So you would start to think like that would change the retail perspective into cash flow is king, right? But again, because most retail traders are manipulated to believe that we're in this cycle that we're just going to see high-end freaking prices out of nowhere, they're not focused on these things. I encourage you guys to put that stuff aside and just learn how to get your digital assets working for you. Even if it's $1 a day can snowball into eventually $10 a day. if you know how to do it properly, right? That $10 a day again, therefore, after can snowball into $20 a day and so on and so forth. So reading this is from the Bron Canton Rewards Program. And it says Canton Coin. First off, this is not available for individuals in the United Kingdom. So sorry for anybody that's in the UK. That sucks. Canton Coin is the native utility token of the Canton Network, an infrastructure designed to bring real-world asset tokenization onto always on-chain capital markets. Canton aims to increase the adoption of Canton Coin, and one of the ways the network encourages participation is by providing rewards. When paired with Bron, the Bron wallet enables users to participate in rewards programmed by holding both Canton Coin and Bron tokens. By activating Canton and the Bron desktop app and meeting the required holding thresholds, users become eligible to share daily rewards that reflect the Canton Network's utility-driven tokenomics and its ecosystem participants and contributions. Now, depending on the activity on the Canton Network may mint new Canton tokens as part of its protocol level tokenomics and distribute them to eligible participants who generate activity on the network. The size of the rewards and the rules for their distribution among participants are determined by the Canton Foundation. Bron has no influence over this process. Bron does not guarantee any specific level of rewards and is not responsible for the amount, timing, or continuation of rewards distributed by the Canton Foundation. As it goes on to continue, it says, to join the Canton and Bron Rewards program, you must have an active Bron plan by holding Bron or a fiat subscription. Activate Canton, available only in the desktop app. Hold both Bron and Canton tokens in your Bron wallet. And once you have enough Bron and Canton coins, you can then join the rewards program directly from the Bron wallet interface. Here are the available tiers. Talks about holding 10,000 of both, 100,000 of both, 500,000 of both, and $1 million. Now, we have different community members that have all kinds of different tiers. I personally, just to be transparent, am currently in the 100K tier. So going back here, you guys can see the recent rewards. Even just today, I was deposited $82 for participating in this rewards program. And I'm sure Aqua, the same thing, right? How many rewards over the past consecutive days have you earned? Can you share?
Yeah. Let me share real quick here. I think it's like 3,500. Let me see here. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I may not be able to share because I forget that on the StreamYard, I'm only able to share what's on my Chrome tabs for whatever reason.
Oh, and you're on the application, eh?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm always on Chrome and wherever on StreamYard though.
It's all good. I'll reshare my tabs. All right, well, check it out.
It's 3,500 Canton is what I've earned in the last 4 days, I believe it was, or something like that. 4 or 5 days.
So here's all the rewards that have been distributed. And I mean, you could see it deposits every single day. Rewards, $9, $9, $9, $10, $10, $10, $12, $12, $10, $11, $9, and it goes on, right? So, you know, here in the Wealth 28 Club, we're just all about passive income and cash flow. And what you decide to do with this passive income and cash flow is up to you, of course. But nonetheless, the goal is cash flow. $10 a day, every single day, turns into $70 a week. And $70 a week could literally pay your freaking water bill. Literally $70 a week times 4 is a couple $100 a month. And guess what? There's your electric bill or your gas bill or part of your rent. And so the idea is not to just hold these digital assets, collect dust, and freaking hope for moon boy prices. No, we're in a new financial system, y'all. It is time to wake up and realize that these digital assets have the ability to literally free us from the financial slavery that we've been designed to believe exists all of our lives. And if you have the mentality to overcome and push past the curtains that exist in the general and average retail hypey space that just deliver you all this constant nonsensical bullshit of price appreciation all the time, which is going to be great one day. But as we heard at the very beginning of this call, the Canton or the Linux Foundation lady literally said, hey, y'all, we're still in the process of banks figuring out how to integrate all this into their core infrastructure. And it's not yet time. It's definitely the tipping point, and we're starting to really see it transpire. And in 2026, we're definitely going to see huge developments, but calm, right? Calm. Everybody relax. It's not fully time yet. That time is coming. We are definitely well on our way to that 2030 agenda. But what are you going to do now between today and then to really start to come out on top? The market's down today, right? The market's not freaking sending crypto prices to the freaking sky high valid price targets that everybody's been screaming at the top of our lungs. Are you making money, or are you just sitting on bags that are collecting dust? That's the real question. Cash flow is king, and we cannot stress that enough. So that's honestly my spiel for today. We just hit an hour mark. I had a couple of other tabs open. I wanted to go over Upshift and XRP and Bitcoin rewards, but not going to have time in today's video breakdown. I actually just heard one of the homies come over. He's going to be working out in the home gym today. So I'm going to go down there and train with him. But yeah, nonetheless, guys and gals, as always, me and Aqua always trying to bring you guys the realest information in the game. Man, what a wonderful week it was, Aqua. I want to talk so much more about your trading journey, bro. It motivates the shit out of me that you finally passed the threshold of becoming a profitable trader.
Bro, and today was such a money day. It's my biggest day yet on my Express account. So
can you share that real quick?
Yeah. Let me or actually hold on, let me sign into my Top Step on Google Chrome real quick here, and I can definitely share with everybody for sure.
We're definitely, I want to transition a lot in 2026, and as you start making more money in trading, I want to definitely start to throw in psychology aspects of just trading and managing profitable portfolios in crypto, and just getting people to really see that crypto and being a successful crypto investor is not about just buying and holding. You actually really have to learn how to strategize and rebalance and generate cash flow, and inevitably, hopefully, eventually trade. And that's how you're really going to come up either this year or in the coming years ahead, is if you learn that it's not just about downloading a freaking centralized exchange, buying crypto, then putting it over in your cold storage wallet, and then just letting things go and forgetting about it. There's cycles that you're going to have to live through. There's things that you're going to have to rebalance. You're going to maybe come across certain projects that you believed in at the very onset of your crypto journey that didn't actually pan out to be what you thought they were, and you might have to rebalance some of those funds into other better performing projects. There's all kinds of things that you have to do. And here at CyberX, we're just here to show you guys that you have 3 7-figure mentors that have literally built successful portfolios in day trading and investing. They're here to show you the ropes. So super stoked that Aqua's been able to achieve some of these results. Go ahead, Aqua, if you got it. I know your daughter's in the background, bro.
Yeah, give me just a second. Hold on. I'm trying to get my password real quick here. Hold on 1 second.
For anybody that's listening in, don't forget that throughout the week, when I do have time, I will be streaming some of the panel discussions that are shared inside the private CyberX research Discord. There's literally hundreds. I can't even keep up with the researchers nowadays because of how busy I've been lately. All the research that goes inside the private community. But as always, if you guys want to access the videos, for example, like the panel that we shared at the very beginning of this from the Digital Euro Association, that has 32 views. How embarrassing is that such a major organization in this space is getting barely any views via the education that they're pumping out? You guys can always find that valuable information inside our private CyberX Discord. Like literally today alone, if you come into our, let me share this screen real quick. You come into the crypto, let's share this, the crypto research specific conference tab at the very bottom of our research channel here. Today alone, there was over like 20 panel discussions shared inside here, from huge panel discussions that have taken place over the past couple of days that I feel like nobody is paying attention to. Documents from some of the largest organizations, always constantly shared in the chat. The researchers are global. They never freaking sleep. We have researchers placed all over the world that are always sharing valuable information that just keeps people in the loop with what's happening behind the scenes. Non-mainstream non-opinionated research, just constantly tapping and locking people in with what's really happening behind the scenes in crypto. You guys can always lock in with us. Head over to cyberxtrading.com. We'd love to have you guys on the team. Aqua, go ahead, bro, if you're ready.
Yeah, it's loading up here. I finally got signed in. Hold on one second.
I wish I had time to share with you guys this upshift stuff that I found on XRP and Bitcoin, because yeah, 2026 is going to be very interesting for yield on both assets, Bitcoin and XRP. Maybe we'll save that for next week's podcast.
All right, let me share my screen here real quick. I'm trying to get logged into my, for whatever reason, watch, I'll explain right now what I'm what I'm talking about. So I got logged in to my Top Step where TradingView is at, right? And you can see today my profit and loss here, my biggest day yet, $1,545 right here at the top. But I really wanted to show you guys my dashboard as well. But this is like, for whatever reason, a different password. But yeah, hold on, let's see here. I can go over what I caught today real quick. I can show you guys that as well. Let's see here. Can you see my screen pretty good, or?
Yeah, bro, your screen's fine. You got a lot of background noise.
Yeah, my bad. My family's up having brunch right now in the kitchen. All right, so yeah, this is the move that I caught. So we trade MNQ, and right at the opening, 6:30, you know, it started rumbling and roaring like it usually does. I mean, the candlesticks just start going, right? But on the lower time frame, I had seen a pattern that played out for us, and it's a pattern that we know here in the CyberX Superior Trading Group. And I'm telling you, it's quite the edge. But I don't want to go over that pattern and share too much, right? But that pattern is what led me to having this success today with catching this whole move to the upside after the market had dipped. So yeah, and on the lower time frame, you can see the pattern. But you know, for those of you that are tapped in, and you know, you're feeling like, man, I feel like I have what it takes to trade. Tap in with us. Honestly, tap in with us, because what you're going to learn is going to give you an edge like no other. And that's just my personal views and my personal opinion. Keep in mind, I haven't been trading for that long now. I mean, how long can I actually technically say I've been trading Cypress? Like maybe 3 or 4 months, maybe technically, right?
I'd say 6 months.
6 months. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, since the summertime, pretty much, like at the end of summer. So yeah, you're right.
6 months and you're fully profitable and eligible for payouts.
Yeah, 1000%, 1000%. So yeah, and that's what I was trying to, hold on. Let me see if I can sign in to my other dashboard just so I can show everybody the payout, but I just don't want to try to sign in front of everybody. Hold on one second.
I really, I'll say this real quick. I want everybody to understand, like I posted a video clip the other day of the mentors inside the CyberX community, because bro, this week alone, we cleared over $200,000 collectively together between myself, you, and Scalper. Well, I'd say that now, if I went to go back and recalibrate that, over $300,000 this week we cleared from the markets. And we don't share that with people publicly to like brag or boast. We're trying to show you guys that there is a community of individuals that actually have valid information and data that can really truly give you an edge that most people are looking for on the internet but fail to find, because there's just like this smoke screen of information that exists on the internet that just like clouds everybody's judgment and just distracts people from like the real true information on how to trade and how to invest properly. It's pretty crazy. You know, so just understand, this isn't to like flex or like say we're making all kinds of money, because we all know that we are all just retail investors, and even clearing $300,000 compared to other people that I know that are running numbers in this game is minuscule. But, you know, if you really want to try to advance yourself and really learn about the markets that you're investing in, CyberX is the place to do it. You know, we're non-opinionated, we're non-biased, we're very open-minded to all types of crypto projects. We're open-minded to trading all types of different asset classes. There's people in our community that trade Forex, that trade crypto, that trade commodities, that trade futures. There's people in our community that invest in Bitcoin, that invest in XRP, that invest in all these other digital assets. And it's just a very grounded, like-minded community of individuals that are just here to progress in their personal life and whatnot. Aqua, it looks like you're ready to share. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, can you see my screen? Okay, there we go. Yep. Yeah, so this is my dashboard. You guys can see here my win rate, 85%. My highest day with my entire what my entire account balances is pretty much today, right? Highest day, 5,421. And then my best day trading again is right here. My worst day was 164. That was on Wednesday. And yeah, I just had the discipline to walk away and not try to win that back and potentially put me in a deeper hole. I said, you know what, just let the market do what it does the rest of the day, come back. And sure enough, coming back the next day, Thursday, and then coming back today, yeah, it's been it's been surgical for myself. I'm just coming in and just smack. But yeah, you can see the payouts here. So this is my eligible amount that I could basically request to pay out myself. So I'm actually going to do that today. I'm going to decide how much, but I am going to do this today for the first time. So yeah.
Asking you a quick question, right? Now that you're a profitable trader, what is something outside of, obviously, of course, benefiting your family and your personal bills and this and that? What do you think trading unlocks for people that really truly lock in, like in terms of investing and in terms of just capital allocation and broadening your horizon? Like you have DeFi, you have personal businesses, and then now on top of that, you have another income stream, trading.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself, what do you see yourself doing with these extra profits that you're making on top of all the other capital that you're making as a 7-figure investor?
I'm just having more family time, to be honest with you. Having more family time, giving back to my family. I got 3 boys, a daughter, and a wife. So, yeah, I got my outside everything that you just said. I also have all that on my plate as well. So, this is going to give me the ability to travel as well, even more, right? And basically just set up shop anywhere. All I need is a laptop and be able to connect, and I can apply the skill set that I now learn to basically make money anywhere in the world. But I'll even say this though too. I feel like I was already a patient person already, but if you think you are good at something, there's always so much more that you can do, because I feel like during this journey of becoming a profitable trader, I've learned a whole new level of patience. And that's something that you have to have. That's part of the psychology discipline that you need on a day-to-day basis when you are trading in these markets. Because I feel like if you don't, that's where that FOMO and that going on tilt after a loss comes from. It's like you're running out of patience and you feel like you need to win that money back right then and there. And I feel like, on Wednesday when I walked away from the 164 negative day, that took a level of patience as well, because I got to be patient for the market tomorrow now, right? And be okay with walking away with this L. But it's a whole nother level of patience though. So yeah.
How important do you think learning these new digital skills are, like DeFi and trading and just growing a portfolio profitably in this new era of finance and AI that we're headed into?
Wait, say that one more time.
So, we're headed into this era of AI. And, for those individuals that think that it's some scam, AI is going to replace a lot of very minuscule, lower income earning jobs. Like, I mean, I can't imagine that in the future, you're going to have jobs like grocery store checkout clerks, like somebody that works at a grocery store scanning people's groceries. That job's going to be automated in the next 5 to 10 years easily. right?
Yeah.
So that person that's like sitting there, and I'm not like bashing that profession by any means. I'm just saying like an individual that's like there that comes home after that job, they come home, probably sit there, watch Netflix, fall asleep, like the average person, like it would benefit people like that work those lower income earning jobs that could be easily replaced by AI so much to start to learn these things now while they are still transpiring and manifesting. How important do you think it is for the average person that works a job that can be replaced by AI to try to learn these digital skills like DeFi, earning passive income, or trading to earn extra income that you can then go and take? You got $2,000 right now that you can withdraw from the markets that you made this week alone. $2,000 a week is a huge amount of money for a normal person, but now you could go put that in a Metal X right now in a liquidity pool and start earning 40% on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
How
say
important do you think it is?
it's extremely important to learn it. Especially if you're an ambitious person and you want to get ahead and you visualize, having financial freedom, to not pay attention to this, to not start learning this stuff and applying yourself every single day. I feel like this is a time in history like we've never been in as well. And like I keep saying, like the window of opportunity is closing for so many different things. Getting in on some of these assets, learning DeFi, learning trading, because there's so many things that are just like moving at a rapid speed with technology. That's just we're gonna wake up one day and it's never gonna be the same. It's imperative that you start learning this stuff right now. Otherwise, you're going to be real. This is just my honest opinion here. You're going to be at the mercy of the government. The city, wherever you're at, you're going to be at the mercy of whatever they say, because if now they are your source of, okay, there's no jobs, so we got to go sign up for, this thing called universal basic income. But hey, guess what? We got to do X, Y, and Z. And before that, we also got to complete A, B, and C before we go and get this. But hey, there's no jobs, so we have to go and do all this. And I don't know what those list of things will be. But if you're anyway, if you're aware of your surroundings right now, you know that there's not too many things that have your best interest on so many levels. So
I think the biggest thing is, and let me know if you agree or not, but I think the biggest thing is lack of self-belief. Like a lot of people I see that come into the trading space or just DeFi or just investing alone, they think that they don't have like what it takes or the time that it might take to learn. When in reality, you just have to stop running from yourself and understand that growth starts the moment that you stop running from yourself and you start really focusing and locking in and honing on your own ability to manifest a better reality. Like the fact that you tell me all the time when we're on private calls, like, dude, I couldn't have imagined, back in 2021, if you would have told me I'm going to become a profitable trader in 2025, I wouldn't have believed you. It's crazy. It's crazy because look how, I mean, not how easy it's been, because it hasn't been easy. I mean, in the private community, you guys could literally go watch all the Zoom call recordings where Aqua has shared his journey, where he blew an account, where he overtraded, where he revenge traded, where he got aggressive and he lost money. He shared all of that journey, which was surprising with the community. Literally his whole entire journey from start to finish is in our recordings and the Zoom calls. But nonetheless, now moving forward, like I say this all the time, once you learn it, once you get the strategy down packed that we teach, once you learn the edge, it literally becomes like drinking water. And the overhead in the financial markets, the best part is that there is no overhead. You are your own overhead. Like,
yeah.
How far you scale and how much money you make now, bro, is literally all up to you. It's so crazy that you go from this mindset shift of a boss or a job, or I have to go clock in and I sacrifice my time for money. Now, inversely, when you get into trading, it's more so about your focus, your energy, and your discipline, and how that transforms into the monetary value that you gain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's such a you feel free once you get on this side of the fence. And for anybody who thinks that they don't have what it takes. I'm going to be real with you. If you're on this call right now and you've been tapped into everything that we've been talking about, even the Canton stuff, or even prior calls when we're talking about other projects, trust me, you have what it takes. You just got to get out of your own way and apply yourself, take action, quit telling yourself, oh, I'm going to do it next week, or I'm going to do it on the first of the month, or I'm going to do it on Monday, or I'm going to do it this summer. There's always like some sort of, I'm going to do it then, right? Why not do it now? Why not start now? So, yeah.
Yeah, bro. It's phenomenal, man. But yeah, blessings to you guys. Thank you guys so much for locking in with us this Friday. As always, be cognizant, be aware out there. If anybody does want to tap into the private CyberX trading community, you guys can always go over to cyberxtrading.com. You guys can use Aqua's code, all caps Aqua. We'll give you 15% off the lifetime advanced CyberX trading course. You guys can learn the same exact strategies that Aqua has mastered over the last 6 months to make him profitable, and is now fully able to withdraw money from these markets pretty much whenever he feels it's necessary.
Let's go, baby.
But yeah, blessings to you guys. As always, be cognizant, be aware out there, and we'll see you guys next Friday. Everybody take it easy.
Peace, everybody.